Alexander Volkov versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Here we go for a heavyweight fight as a main event. Whew, it's a good one. But before we get into it, guys, this video is sponsored by Full Reptile Collective, brought to you by Dan Hardy. Head over to their website at fullreptile.co.uk where you can find anything from training gear, t-shirts, hoodies, all the way to coffee. For an exclusive 10% off, use Dan Said So at checkout. Make sure to also check out their YouTube channel for some of the best MMA content out there, bar my own. Let's get back to the video. Alright people, let's start with Volkov. We're going to start with someone, Volkov it is, because Volkov, this is the toughest test in the world for Tom Aspinall because of how Volkov uses range, how Volkov uses distance management, how he can one-shot punch you because of, Alistair Overeem recently. He does have that knockout power. He's more of a plodder because he uses the range so well. He's a veteran. How many times has he been finished? Once or twice, like properly, by submission. I think once in Bellator years ago, maybe. Dude is a beast. Tom Aspinall took him down, didn't even take a shot, arm locked him. Okay. Now I'm not going to overreact and say Volkov's on his way down, but I think it's clear he's not a top 5 heavyweight. And I think that is more than fair to say. I think he cusps on the 6 to 15 range. He beats and is competitive with most of those guys. I have him like Jairzinho, Volkov, Tybura, a lot of those guys. Who else is in there? Daukaus. Those are the guys that I think Volkov is a part of that equation now. I think you're going to see a lot of those matchups in the future, especially Daukaus against these guys because he's kind of been thrown in the deep end and then just blimey. So Volkov, guys, Volkov uses range excellently. He really does. He's not a mover though. And I went through this when I did the video with Dan Hardy when we talked about Volkov versus Aspinall. He plods along and it's a danger at all times. He's a plodder. He keeps the range, but if you get inside the range, he's in real big trouble. If you get inside that jab, you can work his body. He's got a lot of area to hit. His legs are there to be chopped. He does carry a light front leg though because he does implement a nice lead low kick of his own. He does have a heavy right hand, but again, the amount of times we have seen him very heavily punch someone unconscious is Overeem's the only one to memory for people. He normally wins via decision. If you can't beat Greg Hardy quickly, he beats him by decision. What are you doing? It's like, so that's the level. Is Volkov actually an elite martial artist at this level anymore? I don't know if he is. And that may be really harsh to say because before we were saying this is the toughest test for Aspinall, a lot of us Brits were going, we know how good, how damn good he is. But I don't want to keep comparing him to someone like Tom because he's fought a bunch of good people, but he's always lost to the elite of the elite. You think he was dominating Derek Lewis for 14 or so minutes in that fight and then gets shut out with one punch. And that's what I worry for when he's facing someone like Jairzinho Rozenstruik. So Jairzinho obviously has the kickboxing background. He has that heavy hand. Again, he's not a mover. He's a plodder himself. I expect these guys to fully sit in the center of the cage, stand in the center of the cage in fact, and trade heavy shots from low kicks. Jairzinho is more likely to implement a low kick game. He looked decent against Blades whenever they were standing. It was just the takedowns won it for Blades. He caused a lot of damage. That's what he does. His hands are kettlebells and he can hit you like a truck. He can shut your light off like that. You saw against Alistair Overeem as well. He's a nice comparison for these. They both knocked him out cold. But again, he was losing that fight until he wasn't. Split his lip, one of the most horrible injuries you could see. And Wolverine over there healed within a week. But Jairzinho Rozenstruik has that ridiculous power. He sits on his punches. He's very heavy on that lead leg. And Volkov can really exploit that. The heaviness of that leg is there to be kicked. But the only difference is he has the leg reach to do it, which is why I like Volkov for that. Jairzinho, if he gets inside that range though and those heavy shots come over the top, hit the body, he does not just throw one bomb, he throws combinations of power shots. The first one is as powerful as the last one and he puts all his hips, all his shoulders, all his movement, his whole body into these, but he never over swings. Everything is technical by Jairzinho, which is why I love it. He's not got as much power as Derek Lewis or Francis Ngannou, but he has the technique which generates the power for him, as well as him just being, genetically strong as an ox. But I fully expect him to be able to get inside the range of Volkov, and if he can, I think he can knock him out. If he can't get inside the range, he's going to lose the decision. He's going to. I don't see him out-decisioning Volkov. He's a decision master. He knows how to pepper people. He knows how to win rounds. He knows how to sit away from heavy shots, and he knows how to work a leg kick game, especially with those long legs. You know, he can be sitting on the outside all day just kicking your leg out, and if you're not checking them or not lifting that up or getting out of the way, sliding back, you're going to get chewed up. So guys, for me, this is all about whether Jairzinho can get inside that long jab, work those heavy shots, and sit Volkov down. I think he has to finish him to win this fight. It's a 5-round fight. I'm not sure who that favours more. I think it would favour Volkov more. He's never had a problem with gas. Jairzinho has in some fights, but again, he's only lost a couple times and he's a beast himself. So for me, guys, I'm actually picking Jairzinho. I think Jairzinho can knock Volkov out, and I don't want to put too much hate on Volkov here because I think he's a tremendous martial artist. I just think he might be on his way down here, and Jairzinho hasn't really been outclassed as such, other than being knocked out cold by Francis Ngannou, but he hasn't been outclassed as such. And I think he has a lot more to offer this heavyweight division. I think he's forever learning as well, and he's got the experience. It's not going to trouble him getting in with someone that tall because he's fought them in kickboxing. So there's my 2 cents, guys. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Like the video if you have enjoyed it, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and enjoy the fights. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Cheers, guys. Thanks.